Well, it's certainly good to have each one of you here today. I am lucky and blessed to be able to see you. And today we're in our fifth and final session on the series and hashtag struggles. And today we're going to be looking at rest. And how do we get rest when we live in a selfie-centered world? This is one of the things that we really need to tackle, because I believe that for many of us, rest is absolutely fleeting. We are tethered to all these different devices, and they demand attention, and they demand our time. So how do we find spiritual rest for our souls? And I think there's no better place. It's interesting, some of the places where you can find a spiritual message. Now, anybody know where this movie is from? Sorry? Man, my ears are old. That's right. Now I got it. Napoleon Dynamite. Okay. And this is a section about Kip when he finds his one true love. And what I want you to do is I want you to listen to the words that he sings to his one true love as they are getting married.
The World Wide Web is great, but you make me salivate. Yes, I love technology, but not as much as you see. But I still love technology, always and forever.
Now, wasn't that touching? I mean, wouldn't you like your husband at your marriage to actually sing those very moving and passionate words? Now, some of you may not have been able to hear it, so I'm going to read it to you, the part that I think is important, that is very specific to our day today. He says, "We met in a chat room. Now our love can fully bloom. Sure, the World Wide Web is great, but you make me salivate. Yes, I love technology, but not as much as you see. But I still love technology, always and forever," okay? Now, that really resonates with me, okay? Because I love technology, too. I think technology is a real good thing. But I would never in a million years think of singing this song to my wife. Do you know why? She'd slap me, that's why, okay? And I can say that because she's not here, okay? The truth is, we can love technology, and that's okay. But, you know, what they're getting at here, and what it really should speak to us, is this, is technology is starting to take over our lives. Someone said this, like money, social media is a great servant, but a horrible master. Okay? So like money, it can be a great servant, but a horrible master. I'd like you to turn to 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 12, if you would. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 12. You'll find that on page 809. 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 12. Now, one thing I would like you to remember, that the Corinthian church here, the reason Paul was writing it, is because they were getting into all sorts of perverted and sinful actions, and he felt that he needed to speak to them. And in verse 12 it says this, "Everything is permissible for me, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is permissible for me, but I will not be mastered by anything." Do you notice that? He says, nothing will master me. I will not be mastered by anything. And I think that's something that each one of us should resonate with as well. That deep down inside us, we should be able to say that nothing, by the power of Christ, nothing will master us. I will not be mastered by anything. But here's what's happening. You know, like smoking. When I was trying to quit smoking, it wasn't so much the nicotine and all that sort of stuff. It was the how many thousands and thousands and thousands of times that I went like this into my suit coat, pull it out, take it, light, put it all back, and then now I have a lot of this going on. Okay? Neuromuscular, connected with my mind. Okay? That was the hardest thing. And even after I had stopped smoking for 3 years, there were times when I was in a stressful situation where I would find myself going into my pocket in order to find some cigarettes. And yet I had not smoked for over 3 years. Well, here's the thing. What's happening right now is this, that we are becoming addicted to social media. And it's not just the, I see something and there it is and that sort of stuff. I mean, for me, I know every time I hear a bing or a musical note or whatever it happens to be, my mind goes, okay, maybe that's someone sending me a picture of a cat. And I'm trying to figure out whether I should look at it or not, okay? I remember this past week I was in a counseling situation and I had my cell phone on the desk face down and it went bing. And you know what? I didn't answer it. I didn't pick it up. I don't answer it when I'm in a session or talking to people and that sort of stuff. I didn't answer it. But the two people that I was counseling with said, aren't you going to get that? So they were suffering anxiety because I wasn't answering my phone, okay? And we do this so many times a day, you know. Look, bing, look, bing, look, bing, look. And we're getting the same thing. If it bings, we can't help but look at it. Doctors nowadays have come up with a term for that. It's called nomophobia. Nomophobia. And it's a serious, serious problem. It's not a joke. It is the fear of not being connected through a mobile device. The fear of not being connected with a mobile device. And people experience that when, I know some people that have a hard time driving to Vancouver because there are certain parts of the mountain where their signal goes dead. And they get anxiety as they approach it. It's like they're going to miss something. And so this is really an extreme thing. It's called nomophobia. 66% of people in general suffer from extreme anxiety that they might be disconnected from their phone. In the 18 to 24 age group, it's 76% that suffer from extreme anxiety for fear of not being connected. So I did a little bit of research on this, and it really amazed me. And these are some of the things. 58% of people today don't go one waking hour without checking into social media. 58%. 59% check email immediately. So when the ding goes, you grab it and you check it. 89% take it with you on vacation, and again, you keep on checking. 80% take your phone to bed. You need help. That's an extraordinary number. 80% take it to bed when you try to go to sleep. 84% said that they couldn't go one day without social media. Now, if you're in that position, we're here for you, okay? And it's a serious thing. I mean, we can laugh at it, but it is actually a very serious thing. How many of you, for instance, and don't raise your hands like just yet, but how many of you, one of the last things you do at night is check your phone? Let me see. That wasn't a condemning because I do it too, okay? Or one of the first things you do in the morning is check your phone. Okay, I don't do that. Do you know why? I'm a pastor, and I have my devotions first. Well, it is true, but that's not condemning you, okay? Now, so this is a real thing. It's going on. Our minds are never shutting down. We keep going. We keep thinking. We keep connected. And when you go to bed with your phone and you hear the ding, just as you're about to fall asleep and you hear the ding and you go over and you pick it up. You may be in a meeting and you hear the ding and you pick it up and you look at it. It is affecting so many of us. We become short with our children, maybe short with our spouses, and we don't know why. Here's what I believe the truth is. We are spiritually exhausted. We're spiritually exhausted, and we don't know why. And yet we keep going back to the very same thing that is exhausting us. I believe with all my heart that we need to enter into rest. I wonder, almost everyone in our culture today would acknowledge our bodies need rest. What I want to say today is not only our bodies need rest, but our hearts, the very deepest parts of us, our minds, the way we think, and the way we keep on going. We need rest. We are a restless generation, and we are suffering because of it. Now, I love technology for all the good things that it can do. But when technology masters us, then it turns into a bad situation. So here's what I want to do. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 9 through 11. For there is a special rest still waiting for the people of God. For all who have entered into God's rest have rested from their labors, just as God did after creating the world. So let us do our best to enter that rest. Okay? So here's what I want to do. I want to share something with you that I think is very valuable. Okay? And as a Seventh-day Adventist church, we often think of the seventh-day Sabbath, okay? And where it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. You know what I think we've done? I think instead of worshiping Jesus, we often worship the day. And as we worship the day, we completely forget what the day is all about as far as rest is concerned. So here, I want to establish that this is the seventh-day Sabbath, and it says to rest. Rest our bodies, but it also means to rest our minds, to rest the restlessness. We have to have some point to get rid of it. But here's the thing. If we just worship the day, then we often just worship on the day. And if we're doing that, we are missing the absolute point of what the Sabbath is all about as far as entering into rest. So let me say this. Let's say Sunday, which is the first day of the week, God created. And at the end of that creation on the first day of the week, he said, it's good. It's good. Do you think God was tired yet? Say no. Thank you. Okay. On Monday, he did another day of creation. He said, it's good. And he still wasn't tired. On Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, he did creation. And at the creation of Adam and Eve, he said, man, that's not just good. That's very good. And many Adventists say that was God's crowning act. I don't believe that because he created one more thing. He created the Sabbath, okay? And that was his crowning act, not the creation of man and woman, okay? But here's the thing, and here's what I really believe that we need to get to. When we're out Sunday, it still says, remember the Sabbath day. So we are supposed to be looking forward to this particular day because God created it so that we could rest. Now, in the Sabbath commandment, it specifically specifies physical rest. But I also believe it means emotional rest. Because on the seventh day, God rested from all the works that he had made. And it wasn't because he was tired. He was setting an example for us. And so we are to look forward to the rest God gives. Not just on the seventh-day Sabbath, but the rest that he wants us to have on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That we are to have rest in him. all week long. And the commandment that says, remember the Sabbath day, is not just, well, do it all out on the Sabbath. He said, no, remember it. Remember the rest that I want to give you on Tuesday. Remember the rest I want to give you on Thursday. So just as God rested in creating the world, it wasn't because he was physically tired. But he knew that we needed a rest. Physically, for sure. But emotionally and spiritually as well. And so I think we do the Sabbath doctrine disservice by just going all out on Sabbath, okay? And we have a lot of lists and that sort of stuff of what we can do and can't do and everything else. I believe that we need to be remembering the rest that the Sabbath promises Sunday through Friday, not just on Sabbath. Augustine said this, God, you have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our soul is restless until it finds rest in you. And that doesn't mean just one day a week. That means every single day of the week. He wants us to have rest in him. Are we tracking okay on this? Okay, good. This creates a longing in my heart for Jesus, a longing in my heart for the rest that he wants to give. Look at Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. And maybe it'll become a little bit clearer. Matthew 11, verse 28. You'll find that on page 689. Matthew 11, 28. Notice what it says. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. You know what the Sabbath commandment is all about? The Sabbath commandment is all about drawing us into a relationship with Jesus Christ every single day of the week. It's time that we stopped worshiping the day and started worshiping Jesus. Because that is, in fact, what it is all about. So I want to give you two thoughts. The first one is this. I'm going to encourage you or us to learn the discipline of being still, of disconnecting and being in the presence of God. Now, that's not as hard as it sounds, nor is it as easy as it sounds. Psalm 46, verse 10 says this, be still and know that I am God. Okay? This past week, did you have those moments? Did we have those moments where we were still and know that he is God? Psalm 131, verse 2, but I have stilled and quieted my soul. And verse 2, I've stilled and quieted my soul. This is what I think needs to happen. We need to learn the discipline of being still. I don't think we know that. It used to be a discipline way back when. But I think we've forgotten how to do that. With the Protestant work ethic the way it was, and the way that we've been attacked by that Protestant work ethic, we think work is the most important thing that we do. We will sacrifice our family for work. We'll sacrifice our marriage for our work. And God never, ever intended it to be that way. So what I wanted to encourage you to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it in just a minute. Some of you are going to like it, and some of you aren't, okay? Some of you are going to be, in fact, some of you may be mad at me at the end of this, okay? And I say, well, praise the Lord for that, okay? Because God is saying, enter into my rest. And what I want to do today is show you how you can enter into his rest in 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes and you enter into God's rest, okay? So the second thing we need to learn is to listen to God. Now, so what I'm going to ask you to do is difficult, but not hard, okay? I want you to trust me, because I'm going to lead you in how to enter into the discipline of resting and listening to God, to be still, to just allow ourselves to enjoy the natural comfort of listening and being in the presence of Jesus Christ, okay? So you can look at this picture, because I'm going to be talking about this in a bit, all right? So you can look at it so that you know what I'm talking about. And why some of you might be upset with me, and this is why I need to explain it. You're going to think that I'm going to try and teach you to do Eastern meditation, okay? I will never say empty your minds, okay? I will never say that. That's what they do in Eastern meditation, but I don't believe that's Christian meditation. What we will do in Christian meditation is become connected to Jesus Christ and listen to his voice, okay? Now, because there's going to be noise, you're going to hear noises that you've never heard before. I'm going to play a little bit of music, and it is not Eastern music, okay? Okay, that's just background stuff, okay? Are you ready for this? Okay, I'd like you to close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes and just become comfortable, okay, with where you are right now. And I want you to think of that picture that I showed on the screen at the very beginning, because that's where we're going to start, okay? I want you to imagine that you've just got up in the morning and you want your day to be connected with Jesus Christ. And so what you're going to do is you're going to sit in a chair, find a relaxing place, and you're going to go on a little journey. You're going to picture yourself walking through a park, and it's early in the morning. The dew is still on the grass. You can feel it on your feet. The air is cool, but you are warm. And you come to a place on the path where there's a chair. And so you just sit there. And you're thinking of what your day is going to be like. And you're thinking about that you want it to be connected with Jesus in a very special way. And then off in the distance, coming through the tree line, you see someone walking towards you. And as they walk towards you, you recognize that it's Jesus. He comes beside you and sits down on the bench with you. And you don't have any words. You're just enjoying the presence of Jesus. You and him, nobody else. And then he takes you by the hand and he says, "Come with me." This is reminiscent of the text that we read. "Come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden." And so as you go with him and he's holding your hand, you notice that you're starting to ascend. And as you go up, you just have this warm sense of the presence of God. You go in through the atmosphere, out of the atmosphere, and you should be cold now that you're in a place where there's no oxygen or anything else, but you know that it's because Jesus is with you, that he's enveloped you with his love, with his joy, with his peace, and you feel warm. And finally, you reach the place where he wanted to bring you, and it's heaven. And you begin to walk on the golden streets of heaven, and people are looking at you, and they're saying, "Look, it's a friend of God. It's a friend of Jesus." And Jesus is now talking with you. What's he saying to you? I can't tell you what that is for you, but what is he saying to you? And you start having a conversation with Jesus. And then after a number of minutes, he says it's time to go back. And so he takes your hand, and you go through the atmosphere. You come back down, right to the bench was where you left off. And you just have this sense of Jesus is everything that you have ever needed. And as Jesus walks away, he looks at you and he says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. I will be with you today.